So today we're joined by it's Kim and it's also Lucy today from Young Entertainers Musical Theatre School. Yes, it's a bit of a mouthful.
So the school was established in 1987 and it was founded by a couple called Colin and Tricia Horcroft. And Colin used to teach keyboard to students and they used to do shows. And basically Tricia was a dance teacher and she just put dances together to accompany the music essentially. And then from that, they created the theatre school. And then I'm guessing just chose the name Young Entertainers Musical Theatre School, but we are more widely known as YEM Theatre School, which is a lot easier to say and a bit quicker.
It's less of a mouthful, I feel. And how did you both get involved?
So we actually began as students, both of us, when we were quite a bit younger. Well, some of us younger than others. I've been with the school about 22 years now. And Lucy's probably coming up about 20 years, I would imagine, around about there, maybe a bit more.
I'll just work it out. Hold on. Yeah, 22 years, maybe.
Yeah, around about the same sort of time. So we started off just going to classes and then obviously we both had an interest in teaching. And so Colin and Tricia approached us and asked if we'd like to come and help and assist with classes. So we used to go along on a Sunday and help with their workshops. At the time, workshops used to just be one day a week on a Sunday. So we'd go along and we'd help. And then as sort of more dance classes opened up, we'd go along and help with those. And then sort of fast forward a few years, when Colin and Tricia were ready to retire, as it were, they asked if we'd like to take over the school. So we now own the school and we are the principals.
Wow. That's a rite of passage, isn't it? Between you, you've got like 44 years of experience.
And we've been running it now nearly 10 years. So that's flown.
So how has it changed from when that you took over to what goes on now? What's the process with it all?
Well, it was quite a small school, I think, actually, when we first took over. We had about 70 students and pre-lockdown, we were up to about 300. So we had the main sort of Fleet branch and we extended into Farnborough just to sort of get a bigger building that we could use for all our classes. And that just was the beginning of it, really. And we went from teaching maybe a few days a week each and having other jobs to we do this every day. We teach 7 days a week, plus all the admin side and running it as well. So it's just gone from strength to strength. We've been really lucky. And even through COVID, we've managed to keep our head above water. We went over to Zoom, teaching online. And then we're really looking forward to Monday because we can be back in person again. So hoping to build it all back up to where we were and hopefully a little bit bigger. Plus we've got the extra branch in Alton as well now. So very exciting.
So what took you down this avenue, you two, for this kind of career?
Well, for me, I actually always wanted to be a drama teacher. So that was my ambition from a very young age. I was very, very, very shy as a child. Wanted to go to drama, but was too shy to leave my mum. And they actually took me to a drama group, left me and drove away and said, well, if you don't stay, you have to find your own way home. And it was actually the best thing they ever did for me. But I mean, I love performing. I do perform professionally. Lucy and I sing together professionally. But teaching has always been my main passion. I absolutely love just working with the kids, seeing what they can produce, watching them grow. I think it's probably fairly similar for Lucy as well. I'll let you kind of talk about your...
Yeah, so I started keyboard lessons originally with YEM, but I had no confidence at all. I was what you would call a crier. Kim would back me up on that. Just used to cry at everything. No self-esteem, no confidence. And they got me into the theatre school to do some singing and dancing. And I had done a bit of dancing at another school. And it was just the best thing that ever could have happened to me. And then they got me into all the dance classes. And I went on to train professionally in London. But taught before that, and even while I was training, still taught every weekend at YEM. And then even all my performing jobs now, they have to work around YEM because it's my first love and I wouldn't give it up for the world. So it's just been really, really fortunate to get this experience, this opportunity. because I think a lot of our students would love to do it as well, but we're not going anywhere. So
No, but you may need assistant teachers, or if you have a bit of time off, you have cover teachers and things like that. So you've probably got a few of the rising stars in amongst it, thinking you've got your eye on them.
Yeah, I think we've got a team of 10 teachers, well, including us, about 10 of us now, plus we have loads of assistant student teachers. So we're a really nice YEM close-knit family team. So it's really good. We've had lots of teachers over the years as well, and that have gone on, student teachers who've gone on to uni and gone on to train professionally as well. So it's been really nice to especially take them from when they're little, because we've been with the school so long, and they're off, graduated from uni and either performing or doing something completely different. But it's really nice to see that happen.
Great to see them grow.
Yeah.
So what sort of age group are you teaching from then?
We teach about everything. So my youngest one is just shy of 18 months. So we run a Boogie with Baby class where mums and dads can come along and dance with their little one while they sort of learn about music and dance for the first time. And our oldest one, well, we actually run all the way up to adults now. So we do like an up to 18s kind of workshop style class. And then we also run adult classes. So we've got right the way up to retired ladies.
Yeah.
We do our adult tap class. So just about everything.
So what's some of the things you've been teaching? You mentioned tap there. So what are some of the other things?
So like Kim mentioned, we've got Boogie with Baby. We're soon to be introducing another toddler class, which I'll let Kim mention in a minute. We've got Prince and Princess Ballet. We've got, from there, we've got workshops and acro, jazz, contemporary, street commercial classes. And the workshops involve musical theatre, singing, drama, tap and jazz or tap and street. Point work is included. I took some of my ballerinas this morning to go get their point shoes fitted. So that was this morning's job. What have I missed? Choir. We also have a junior choir and a senior choir. And I teach all style dance to adults, beginner ballet, beginner tap. We've got improver tap for adults. The list goes on, really. Have I missed anything?
Gosh, that sounds a full-on timetable. Can I ask, do you do a normal world, I'm talking, do you do an end of term show or annual show anywhere?
So we have a show every year, but those shows alternate. So we have what we call a family show and a big show. Our family show is usually our musical theatre and drama showcase. And basically we hold over either 1 or 2 days a series of different shows. So each child will be in one show. And they all get to perform a solo if they want to. It's all about building their confidence, giving them a chance to perform by themselves on a big stage. So we usually use the Princess Hall Theatre in Aldershot for that. And then we have our big show, which is the following year, which is basically the entire school performing. We do a big variety show. So we have big ballet numbers, big musical theatre numbers. The drama students will like narrate the story of the show as we go through. And everyone's involved. So I think the last show we had that we did at the Princess Hall was our big show in 2019, I think it was. So just before COVID. And we had about 270 children on stage for the finale. So that was, so we had to, well, they say they were on stage. They were on the stage, down the steps, spilling into the audience to fit them all in. But yeah, that's our big show. But we alternate it really because you just, in a big show, you can't give everyone the opportunity of a solo, but that's what kids come to us for. You know, they want their moment in the spotlight. And that's why we do a family show, because then they can. It doesn't matter where they are in their development, and they choose to do a song or a drama piece. Less confident children can work in groups. Our younger children tend to work in groups. So our under 8s would usually do a little group song. But it gives them that chance just to do it all by themselves. They pick their song. They get to design their own costumes for it. Lucy will then usually choreograph some dancing just to go behind them, especially if they're doing pop songs and things like that. Just helps them to really kind of get the whole experience.
There's a whole load of stuff to unpack there. One thing's glaringly obvious to me is if you do these 2 shows, whether they be family or the big one, outfit making. Who makes all the outfits?
Well, we do like to go shopping. That's a big thing Kim and I like to do. And we also have, there's actually 3 of us who run the school, but we've kind of got a silent partner, and that's Kat. And she does make lots of costumes for us, but she has what we would call a normal job. So it's not 9 to 5, but more like a 9 to 5. So come showtime, she does make a lot, but I also try and make stuff. Kim normally does, you do a lot of the set work and some costumes as well. We all pitch in, but we do, because it used to be very, so when we used to do shows, we had to go and find the costumes as a performer. So I'd go to the charity shop and have a look for costumes. But I don't know, I think Kim and I maybe are a bit more OCD than that. We need to make sure everyone looks the same. And so, yeah, it is a massive task. Costumes.
As I say, it's a mammoth undertaking, making the sets, getting the costumes made, managing the children, managing, let's call them the under 8s, probably be harder to manage because there's tears and anxieties, and you must have to have people chaperone them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we put together our kind of show team. So we're really lucky that we've got a kind of solid group of parents who are all chaperones, who will come in, and they come into all our big rehearsals. So for the bulk of rehearsals, we do it in class time, so the children are in much smaller groups. But nearer a show, obviously, we need to get them all together. And I think a child that's only ever been in a class with 15 other children, suddenly be in a hall with nearly 300 can be really overwhelming. So we have our chaperones on hand. We have all our student teachers. They all come in for that day. They all take small groups of children. We stagger all their arrival times so that they're not suddenly confronted with like a wall of people when they arrive. We just try and make the day really, really fun. So we'll talk about it a lot in advance. We have some children who have ASD, so we have to talk about it with them much further in advance than with other children, just to give them kind of the time to process what will happen and how that will happen. But yeah, we're very lucky, I think, aren't we, Lucy, that we've got a really good team around us who support that whole kind of bringing the children in, making sure that the safeguarding's in place, making sure we've got all our registers, everyone knows where everyone is at all times. We've got parents helping to dish out costumes, those, parents on first aid duty, someone else making sure everyone's hydrated. So we're very, very lucky, but it does take a lot of teamwork to get that coordinated and running.
So do you think, with the influx of variety shows on the TV, have you seen, because you girls have been involved in it so long, an influx of more and more people wanting to be interested in the world of arts and entertainment?
Yes, I mean, those shows have been around for a while, so I think it's been a steady stream. It's not been a massive influx recently, but yeah, we've definitely noticed that. I'm trying to think if there are any other shows where, I know I've watched, this is another type, but Dance Mums. I had lots of students coming in wanting to learn those kind of routines, not quite like your Britain's Got Talent, but yeah, we do get at that a little bit. I think then they realise, oh, actually it's not as easy as it looks, and there's a lot of hard work involved, but we're there to support them and show them the way and tell them what they need to do and how they need to do it, and if they want to work. And some come to us just for fun, which is absolutely fine, and we're all for that. But we also offer exams and places to progress to as well. So there's lots of different paths, whether you want to just have fun with your friends at dance class or singing, or actually want to make a career out of it. So we try and support anyone, especially if they let us know they want to do this as a job. We're all for that and trying to support them as best we can.
So you must have seen some great success stories over the years. Any that spring to mind that you could share with us?
So we've got a few students out there working professionally. One of our students is currently not on a cruise ship, but has actually been a real inspiration to our students throughout COVID, because he's come back from his performing work and gone to work for the NHS as a healthcare assistant. So actually, this has been a really good chance for us to kind of showcase everything he's done as a performer, but also it's been a really important learning lesson for the students in that they've seen what happens when there is no performing work. Which I think has been a really good learning curve. But when we've got students working in musicals, and some ex-students who've come up through the school who work in TV now as well, like children's presenters and things like that. So we've been been very fortunate. But I would say most of our students who want to go on to train professionally get in on their first attempt into college, and the ones who a lot of them do keep in touch, and the ones that we have kept in touch with, they are all pursuing their kind of passion within performing arts still. So it may not be that they are a sort of big movie star or something like that, but they might be, some of them have gone on to found dance companies, or work with different organisations to sort of bring performing arts into education. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of different jobs within the whole industry that our students have gone into.
So when you hear some of these stories, how does it make you feel, both individually?
Well, there's different generations. So there might be generations where we've trained with them at YEM. So that's always quite exciting. But I think the most exciting ones are ones that we have brought up from when they're teeny weeny, and then, you know, they're getting work. I mean, we've got an agency inside. I didn't mention that earlier. We also have an agency called Gemstars. So these students, you know, they get their headshots done. We're putting them up for castings and things. And when they get work, it's great to see that as well, because, you know, we've helped train them, we've helped them succeed, which is really, really good. So any jobs they get, whether it be a pantomime or any kind of little filming job, it's always a big triumph for us, and we are very proud, and all the teachers are as proud as us as well.
I could see it in your face straight away when you were saying about that sort of thing. Your face lit up, which is great. Fantastic.
You've got so many strings to your bow. I have to say, I'd not heard of you before, and I'm thinking, why have I not heard of you before? Because every direction you've got stuff going on, and you both seem so calm and organised. Well, I don't know if you're organised. You seem like you're organised, but you seem very chilled for two people running a company like that.
I think we're just very in tune with each other, to the point where, and I think because we've worked together for so long, and we work together in other sort of areas rather as well as just teaching together, I think we just know each other so well inside out that we know the other one is thinking exactly the same as we are. So at any given point, we could be messaging each other saying exactly the same thing. Oh, this needs to be done, and the other one's going, oh, I thought of that, I've already done it. So I think as well, there's a little bit of the kind of the swan kind of imagery. You know, the legs are paddling away. There's so much going on. But in terms, like, your students can't see that, because if they know how much you're running around and pulling your hair out, trying to get everything ready, that fills them with anxiety then about, oh my God, everything seems a bit. Ooh.
So you're absolutely the archetypal performance. It's performance sometimes. So talk me through, Lucy, what is your role in it? And then Kim, what will your role be? What do you do?
In terms of sort of YEM, the background of what we get done.
Your specific role in it, and how come there's no overlap, that you both do each other's jobs or anything?
There's enough work that we don't need to do each other's jobs. There's a lot that we need to do. We both do, I suppose we do split the admin actually. There's different areas that we both concentrate on. We each have our own, obviously, teaching classes, so we teach as well. We've got our own private lessons that we do. That's another thing we do, and our own group classes. But a lot of it we also teach together, but just split them off. I mean, I don't know if you need to know in terms of admin. Kim's the money lady; she sorts out the money. We both deal with inquiries. We both deal with promotion. Trying to think what else we do. We do a lot.
So you're both in tune with each other, so that's why you're probably struggling to find out what each of you do that's different.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would describe us as chill.
Okay. So moving forward then, on when are you starting real life in venue classes?
We're back on Monday. So Monday the 19th. Cannot wait. Yeah, so we start back in Fleet on Monday, and then in Alton from the 26th.
Whereabouts in Fleet is it, and Alton?
So we're a little bit all over the place. Our workshop classes are at the Key Centre on Elvertham Heath and at Ansell's Farm Community Centre. And then we've also got classes in various schools and scout huts in Farnborough. And then in Alton, we're at Alton Community Centre.
Okay, right. So, and everybody knows this, obviously. I expect they're chomping at the bit to get in with you. Start it again.
Yeah, so we're quite lucky that all the children that carried on online, we were lucky not to lose as many as other dance schools did. A lot of ours have done almost a full year online with us, so they are all chomping at the bit to get back in. We're obviously a little bit stuck in terms of you can't have the numbers in classes that we used to, so we've had to open additional classes to allow all those children to come back. But we've also had a lot of inquiries for children wanting to start. I think where they've obviously been at home for so long, they're desperate to get back to the things they love. And children that maybe have just been watching things on TV where they've been at home for so long, that stirred a little passion within them, and they now want to try dancing, or they want to try acting, or a bit of singing. So we've got a lot of new kind of intake coming in for trials as well, which will be really exciting, I think.
Yeah, sounds really exciting. Can I just clear something up then? So do you just do dancing, or do you do singing lessons as well?
So we do lots of things. We do separate dance classes, we do separate singing, we do separate drama, but we also do workshops that train almost like a triple threat performer. So they will do singing, dancing and acting, because if you think about musicals, you do need all three. But then there's some children that definitely don't want to sing or definitely don't want to dance. So we have options for, different routes they could take.
It's useful for everybody to do a bit of the drama because it's part of the performance, whether you dance or sing.
Oh, definitely. I think acting through song and acting through dance is so important, as well as just acting on its own. It just makes the difference to a performer, I think.
What do you think the kids have missed most whilst we've had the lockdown?
Well, we've asked them this, and their main thing they've missed, although they've missed the lessons, what they've missed is doing the lessons with each other. So the lack of kind of social interaction on Zoom, I feel like that's really kind of hit some of them quite hard. They've been online, they've been absolutely brilliant, and actually the improvement in some students through being online is incredible, absolutely incredible. But we've been running some polls and sort of asking them what they've missed and what they're most looking forward to. And the biggest thing that's come out of it is just dancing next to my friend, even though it's in a box and they can't touch each other, but they're all still in the same room. And it's that energy, I think, that you get when you're all together, and so you can see the performance come together. And unlike Zoom, everyone will be dancing at the same time with the music, because you cannot do that on Zoom. And we can hear each other sing, which you can't do on Zoom. And everyone's got on Zoom, everyone has to play their own music, and everyone's on mute. So you have no idea on Zoom who's in tune, who's not. So it's been, I think, just that whole kind of, I think it's going to be like a bit like rediscovering it for the first time again for some of them. And let's say some of them were very little when they started. So some of our very youngest workshoppers are only 4, and they've done a year on Zoom from 4 to the age of 4 till 5, and they've probably only done 3 or 4 classes with us before we got shut down last March. So I think it's just that coming back in, the excitement of being with everyone. I think that's what they're really looking forward to, and us too.
So Lucy, I was going to ask, what have you missed in the last year or so, not being with your students?
I think I've missed the interaction as well. It's not that it's soul destroying on Zoom, but because everyone's muted, it's a little bit lonely. So I'm stuck in my house all week. Yes, I do get to talk kind of at them because they can't always unmute and just reply and agree or disagree. So yeah, I do miss that. I miss the atmosphere of having all the children, all the young people in the room. Yeah, I can't wait. And it's almost like being a TV presenter on Zoom. No dead air. You have to keep going. You have to keep the energy going. And it's a lot more, I just find it a bit more difficult because it is just more energy consuming, because you've got to keep them all engaged. If they look away and they leave the room, it drops. So it would just be nice just to be there. They're all there. They're in their little boxes, obviously, hopefully just until June 21st. Then they can come out of boxes. So yeah, it's going to be nice to have some normality soon.
You're making them sound like they're in little Jack in the boxes where they jump up or something like that.
They basically are.
So can I ask you this? Have a think on this. I can't say the word now. Inspirational quote. Do you have one that you live by?
Our students shine.
That's the YEM one.
That's our YEM quote.
That's your YEM one. But in times of trouble, when you're lying in bed in the middle of the night thinking, oh gosh, what gets you through to the morning thinking I can do this or whatever?
My one that was actually on my Facebook profile for a long time, and which actually is quite fitting, is that there's always light behind the clouds. That's quite a good one, I think, for COVID. Sort of a light at the end of the tunnel sort of expression.
Okay, and Kim?
Yeah, mine's similar actually. So mine is after the storm, there's always a rainbow.
Why doesn't that surprise me that you both got very similar ones then? As we've been talking, you are very in tune with each other, and it's all about weather and clouds and rainbows. It's fantastic. It sums it up really well.
Would you say you're best friends as well then?
Yeah.
Kim was my maid of honour at my wedding.
And Lucy's going to be mine this year.
Oh,
Hopefully we can get married this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Kim sang at my wedding as well, which was lovely.
You inviting all the students to the wedding?
Well, actually, yes, because we're getting married in a theatre. So we're actually, because YEM's been such a big part of my life for such a long time, I needed some way to kind of bring that in. So the choir are actually going to perform while I nearly said the audience, I meant my family, while they arrive into the auditorium for the wedding to start. So we'll be getting married on the set of Cinderella at Christmas this year, hopefully.
Wow. In what theatre?
In the Wild Theatre at South Hill Park.
Wow, okay.
And
You've got 3 extra guests now.
Yeah, come along, the more the merrier.
We can't sing, but don't worry about it.
Mine.
You'll spot us straight away going, oh, there's the 3 from Buzz Podcast. They can't sing. Now, is there? I'm throwing this out there. Is there one song that that represents the whole group? You might not be able to answer that. I don't know.
Yes, we kind of have an anthem, don't we, Kim?
Well, no.
Don't Stop Believing. It seems to be our song. Don't know why. It always has been, hasn't it, for the choir, and it's been a finale in one of our shows. Yeah, I think that'll stay with us, that song. Is that what you were thinking, Kim, or were you thinking something else? Okay.
Yeah, I think as well, because it was the show that was the transition between the old owners leaving and us coming in. So it was the first show we'd been allowed to really take full control of. We could write it. We did all the kind of choreography and management of it. But the old owners were still there just to kind of support us into our new roles, I suppose. And that was our first show finale that we did as kind of owners about to take over. So I think it just holds a really special place in our heart. And I think actually the whole idea of what Don't Stop Believing means is really apt to our students as well.
It does say everything, doesn't it? It teaches people passion and belief in themselves and the energy you can take through with it. Thank you, ladies. It's been really, really lovely and informative. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.